It's yet another edition of the Shirlma Show. And guess who we have in the house today? No other person than Mr. Etta John. Hey, he's also known as Star Daddy. Star Daddy. Welcome to the Shirlma Show.
Thanks very much, thanks.
It's really a pleasure to have you here today.
The pleasure is mine. I've been looking forward to this.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So you're actually the co-founder, right? And
Yeah.
the executive director of Jangiccul Hub.
Yes.
But now whenever I see you on Facebook, what I hear most is really the VIP winners.
Yeah.
So what's the distinction between Jangiccul Hub, or the relationship between Jangiccul Hub and VIP winners?
Actually, there is no distinction per se because it's just an ecosystem. And the ecosystem that Jangiccul Hub is building has birthed this other sub-ecosystem called the VIP winners. You know, at Jangiccul Hub, we're all about technology, especially early-stage startups in the domain of technology. And we built a wonderful community of more than 5,000 techies in the past 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was time for us to also look at the other side of entrepreneurship, who are the informal sectors, those who are not really tech inclined, and to also reach out to them. So we had this wonderful startup called Jangiccul, and Jangiccul has been trying for so many years to penetrate the market. What Jangiccul does essentially is that Jangiccul is looking for a way to raise capital for early stage businesses. Yes, and the only way that can happen is through crowdfunding, using cutting edge technological tools. So Jangiccul tried. The first time it failed. It was a little bit successful. They ended up failing also because of the crisis in the Anglophone region. Then the second time, after 2 years, we tried again. And this time around, the coronavirus got us down, the pandemic. And even our approach was not the right one. And now, when Jangiccul came up with the third time, it came with a community first. Wow. Community first, business second, then technology will be coming last. Wow. So it's been a tremendous, I don't want to say successful, but it's been very, very inspiring so far. So that's the journey. Wow. So I could say the VIP Winners community is a subset of what Jangiccul Hub is doing.
But I feel like everybody who is called a VIP winner on Facebook is kind of like pumped up. So what do you do to get them to that level?
We copied this from the most successful business empire, and that's the Catholic Church. I don't want to say Christianity as a whole, but the Catholic Church especially, because we ask ourselves so many questions. How did these guys sit in Rome, for example, and people all over the world will contribute money on a Sunday, and they send to them? I mean, that's some huge crowdfunding tactics there. So what did they do with even the mindset? How did they get Africans from the hinterlands and Europeans in villages to contribute money? People that have never met, and every Sunday will meet and pray. You know what I'm trying to say, right? To a God that I've not seen, I believe in God, but to a God that I've not seen, and they're sending money. God does not need that money, right? Do God need that money? To Rome. And we also heard that Rome is one of the most, developed places in the world. We're like, wow. And one of the richest empires. Wow. These guys must have, done some research and they know some things that we don't know. By the way, they're leading. So let's be humble enough. Take our pens and paper and learn from them. Anything they're doing, we're going to apply in this our own small community we are building. And it's been working.
I also read something about you using the Jangiccul group as actually like a cash cow, right? Where you make money and actually finance other projects. So how does that work?
Thank you for that question. Actually, Jangiccul is what we've been using in Africa. And it's an indigenous socio-economic African principle that has been around for many, many, many years, millions of years, until the white man came and spoiled all of that. So when we realized nothing is working for us, we had to go back to our roots, because there's a saying in French, c'est dans tes racines que tu retrouves la force de mieux comprendre. That states that if you go back to your roots, you'll find all the power and all the secrets for your own civilization and emancipation. So we had to go back to our socioeconomic, principles that our parents were using. So you find out that in the villages, the women will come together. 30 of them will go work this sister's farm. The next day, 30 of them will go work this sister's farm. While they're doing that, there are 7 practices that happen. They sing, they dance, they cook, they eat. That spirit of fraternity was there. So it makes it, you even finish working without knowing that you are working. So imagine that you left and you were going alone to do that. You would think that you're suffering, right? Yeah. Because you are lonely there, you are struggling, there's no motivation. And what if something happens to you in that bush? So they built a wonderful empire and they had a very good lifestyle. But why are we not doing that anymore? So we had to start doing it. So Jangi essentially, and what the Jangi FinTech startup has been doing, that has moved to becoming Jangiccul, because we have to be compliant and regulated. But at the end of it is that we want to bring so much innovation into the Jangi, do it differently because we have more tools that works to our favor. So we're saying, let's put our money into one basket. And if you have a business idea, come and get money from here as a loan. Go do it while as you're paying back, over time you pay it. And we'll make sure we make that capital patient for you. Because we need to have an approach that is all-inclusive. And that we try to understand the business, the small businesses. And in so doing, we kick out micro businesses. There's a difference between a micro business, a small business, and a big business. So we say, okay, let's start with small businesses, where you can employ 1 or 2 people, that's you've created jobs, and it can now get into the formal sector. Let's avoid micro businesses, where you want to do a business with 300,000 francs, 500,000 francs. If that's the capital you have, we're advising you in our community to go look for a high income skill, maybe in the domain of cybersecurity. Maybe it could be video production, pictures, multimedia, all of that, video editing. Maybe it could be in civil engineering, architecture, something. Just look for a high income skill and use that money to learn and upgrade yourself. For example, you're an accountant. Don't go do ACA and come out as a refined accountant or Scrum Masters, digital marketing. Go get yourself some skill, because that's a basic business. Because 500,000 francs, you are running a business that the entire capital is 500,000 francs. People like that are, I don't want to say economic criminals, that are the ones putting us behind, because we are still using the subsistence mindset that our grandparents had, where each person will take the hoe and the cutlass and go to the farm. You will never create wealth like that. So we saw that we don't need to inherit that mindset. We have to learn to work together. And working together is no longer a choice, it's an obligation.
Wow.
That is if you want to grow.
More with Mr. Etta John after the break. If you're just joining us today on the Shirlma Show, we've been in the presence of Mr. Etta John, alias Star Daddy. He's also the co-founder and executive director of Jangiccul. So Star Daddy, you've actually been in collaboration, you've actually been in partnership, you've been mentoring a lot of startups today.
Yeah.
So what do you think are some common mistakes that you find a lot of startups making?
Oh, yeah, the first thing is that of the mindset.
Okay.
The mindset of a startup. The reason why you're doing what you're doing. What you want to do with this business or this startup or this company. That we need to make a difference between a small business and a startup. Those are 2 different things. A small business can only grow to become a big business. A medium-sized business, not even a big. A small business can grow to become a medium-sized business. It ends there. It is a startup that can become a very big business, from a unicorn to maybe a multinational, whatever. So let's know the difference. But both of them, what is the intention? Why are you doing this business? Is it to make money? If it's to make money, then you are. I don't think you have the right reason to do a business. Okay. The reason why you should do a business is because you want to solve problems, and money only comes as a byproduct. Once you have that mindset, then you are going to make it, because the world is in dire need of efficient and qualitative service providers and products. So just feed yourself in that place. Be the best at what you do. Put your heart into it. And put the human being at the center of what you're doing. There's no way you can go wrong with that. Now, every other thing, business principle and so on, they just come to clothe it and to guide you. But it starts with the mindset.
A lot of maybe kind of like potential investors that I also come across, they also have that.
Yes.
They also say, oh, sometimes the mindset of most of entrepreneurs back home at times is not necessarily the best, right?
Yeah.
So, but now, let me say, if you are that kind of investor and you're really looking at maybe investing back home, what are some of the traits that might actually distinguish a potentially good business from something that maybe the person is just doing it for fun or something?
That's a very good question. Now, it's not for the place of the investor to go and be sizing young entrepreneurs coming up with their dreams. People have the right to dream. And nobody's forcing you to come and invest your money. That's the first thing. And the reason why you're investing is because you know that the only way you can become rich is through investing and make your money work for you, therefore passive income. Yeah. Let's be clear. It's not like the startup is dying and you are the savior. No, you're coming for an interest. So then, you have to be humble in the process. I'm talking on the side of the investor.
Yeah.
And when you come, you have to learn, because most investors are very, especially in Africa, when somebody goes to Europe and spend 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, and makes some small money, he thinks he's an investor. No, we need to create a school for investors. Having money does not make you an investor, because you don't know how money works. And you want to come and invest in Africa, a continent that is not structured, you know. In Europe, for example, for you to invest, you can be an angel investor, you become a venture capitalist, you become a stock investor where you invest in companies that have been listed. In Africa, we don't have all of that. So if you are coming, you have to understand the African entrepreneur and try to work with people that, in fact, if you are not part of a community and a mastermind group, don't invest. You'll be wasting your time. We need to understand, because I've seen a lot of people getting disappointed, and it's because of the approach. You will never make money until you're part of a mastermind. It's what our Bamileke brothers and Igbo brothers and the Jews don't tell us. One person just gets up, you have made money, some 50 million, let's say in the US, over 20 years or 30 years of working. And you come, and the first thing is that you want to build a house. You want to put it inside a house in a new layout inside a bush. And you're expecting people to go and, you're thinking that your family will go there and live there. For you, that's not an investment. Maybe your children will never live there. Your parents are old, maybe they don't want to even live there. Maybe they live there 5, 10 years, they're gone. That place is abandoned. We have many of them, you know them now. Yeah. You've been seeing the houses. Some, you go and start a building, your capital is 25 million. Because you have a good job now, or you made a good deal, you don't know that it was a one-time payday. You come to Africa, buy land, put a house, and at the 3rd floor it ends. Look all over Douala, you have houses like that. So many. I think 1/3 of the houses in Douala are incomplete. Because of investors like that. But why don't you put yourself in groups? I tell the American investors, we don't need your money in Africa. We can create our own capital. In the VIP winners community, we are telling the VIP winners that we can create our own capital. We don't need these guys. And when I meet these guys, I tell them, see, invest in New York. Now, you live in New York. Pick 100 of your friends, mobilize yourselves. If you guys put $10,000 or $1 million for us, put 10 years to raise $1 million each. 100 of you, how much is that? $100 million. Put up a skyscraper in the middle of New York. Why can't you guys be thinking like that? Are you guys thinking mediocre? You leave Africa with the subsistence mindset, you go to America with all the education, all what you still keep it you still keep the subsistence mindset. You're still a primitive man. Because you guys don't work together. When you see Africans coming together, it's when they want to celebrate wedding. or somebody lost a parent. East Africans will come now together. We need to change that mindset. We have some things that are good for us, our culture. We are very colorful. Our women are beautiful. Our men are handsome and strong. But we lack the concept of working together. And that's what we are bringing. And that's why we'll be launching 1,000 VIP winners in the US. We've already launched it.
Wow.
1,000 VIP winners in Europe. Because this mindset needs to go across the continent.
That's amazing.
Yes, so it's about mindset. So if you're investing in the African entrepreneur, young entrepreneur, give that entrepreneur the possibility and the luxury to fail 1,000 times and come back again without you criminalizing that person.
So the way you talk, right,
Yes.
actually it's the same thing that maybe I read on your website, because
Yeah.
you really preach a lot about this transgenerational wealth.
Yeah.
I think it's in line with what you're saying,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So, but talk to us a little bit about the transgenerational wealth.
Yeah, transitional world, one generational cohort is 25 years. So there are 4 generational cohorts that are alive now. You have the baby boomers who are still alive, Generation X, mommy's generation, millennials, ours, and the Generation Z. And in America, for example, it takes 3 generations to create wealth. How? Today, the grandparents are now dying and giving over millions of dollars in America. Do we have that yet? Most of us, we came without inheriting even one thing. Then our parents too are hustling, and we are hustling.
Maybe we even inherited debts.
Yes. You are hustling, your father is hustling, your grandfather is hustling, your grandmother is hustling. I've seen some grandparents on bikes here in Douala. No. A grandfather is supposed to be taking care of the grandkid while allowing the son or the daughter to go hustle. It's what they call the family enterprise. You get? So it takes 3 generations. Because if you don't allow your son to go hustle and to dream big, if you allow them to be chained by the kids they have, they can't dream big. They cannot dare. So especially the women, they get close, they get locked up. Oh, because of picking them, that my PhD, I know if you do it again. That my move for America, I know if you do it again. You know, things like that. If the grandparents were there, that no, son, daughter, go conquer the world. This case, I'm here with them, no brother. They did that, it was intentional. Today we are seeing the result. The US has got more than 700 people, 1,000 people with more than $19,000 million in their account. You know, China is starting to do that, and they're growing every day. Every day, China is big. They said they're going to make 20% of their population multi-millionaires in dollars. They achieved that already. Now they're putting another benchmark. Maybe it's half of China that's going to become multi-millionaires. See the kind of, culture people have. In Cameroon, each and every one, Mr. John, Mr. Andrew, Mr. George, they have their individual 20 years plan. Most of them maybe have 20 years plan because they're not even visionaries. So in the VIP winners community, we made it easy for everyone. We have a 20 years plan that all of us are following.
More with Mr. Etta John after the break. If you're just joining us today on the shirlma Show, we've been in the company of Mr. Etta John alias Star Daddy. So, Star Daddy.
Yes.
If, for instance, I were to walk up to you and tell you that I'm a graduate, I just left school, and now I've been thinking because I have this amazing business idea, but at the same time, I've gotten like a job offer.
Yeah.
Which one will you advise me to go for? Go start a business or maybe take that job?
I'll tell you to go take that job.
Why?
Because you need to build experience. The job is business already. Because in your business, you will need to employ people, you need to lead a team. How will you want to go and lead people when you're not in there? So, and also the job is apprenticeship, where you go and learn with somebody's other person's capital. You make all the mistakes there. So when you get into your own business, today a lot of things are working for me. People think it's a miracle. No, it's not. Because I've had lots of bosses throughout the journey of my life. I've served so many people. John Bob is not living, or I'm not even the founder. I'm serving. So it's because I've served a lot that now I'm able to lead other people. So when I see young people, sometimes you ask them, man, you just left school. What do you want to do? I want to create an organization that will be helping young girls in doing. I say, my dear, you borrowed money to come here. You asked me to send you transport to come here. I said, why are you not doing this? No, it's not my passion. What's your passion? My passion is shopping, traveling, being a humanitarian. I like supporting people. And I'm like, don't you think you need the support more than any other person? Yeah. People have this wide dream because of, I don't know if it's TV or whatsoever, or it's Nigerian movies, I don't know. But we need to get people to the reality. Serve first. Serve first.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much, Star Daddy. So maybe let's have some fun questions, if you don't mind. Maybe you can just choose any three.
Can you quantify your mother's love? Why or why not? I cannot quantify it because it's priceless.
Thank you.
A woman will get up at 4 a.m. to cook a roll to go and sell. She was selling at my father's office. My father is a clerk, Minister of Finance at the time, Treasury of Buya. So my mother used to sell there. And she did that for 24 years. Without filing for bankruptcy, and she raised some 7 handsome guys, and with other family members. So that should be priceless. So you can't really quantify it. It's just way beyond this world.
I get that. Okay, thanks.
Okay, this one is over. Best job for a married woman. Your take. A married woman should be number one, consultant to the husband's business. The first consultant to the family business. And teachers, like my own wife is a teacher, and I pity my sons because my son is in class 2. And last night, they were solving some tough things till 11 p.m. I was like, wow, I never had this.
Wow.
And if you fumble, you get a crack. It's so severe. So I'm like, whoever marries a teacher is blessed because I can go now to the world and travel the world and do many things, and she's hands-on with the kids. That partnership is key, and that's because she's a teacher. So I think the best job of a woman is.
Oh, wow, okay. No comments. Okay, last but not the least.
What's your favorite TV program and why? I want to say the Shirlma Show.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because here you give entrepreneurs to come, talk about their experiences, what I've learned, and it helps the marketplace and our society to grow. We are at war with the media right now because our youths are being fed with things that are not useful to them, for them. Nigerian movies and so on. Football. What's football? Why don't think that people are kicking up and down? What's the use of that? Oh, I'm an artist, but there's a time to do comedy or to dance. There's a time to get serious. But in Africa, we've just taken the entire time to be dancing and be doing comedy. You see shows like this, you put it online. With all what we've said, taking your time with this kind of investment, in this room, we are more than 10 of us, or maybe, and you put it online, you will not have even 1% of the kind of views that if somebody starts and dancing or doing comedy will have. So I think we should pay more attention to shows like the Shirlma Show, for the world to know.
Thank you so much. On today's edition of the Shirlma Show, we were honored to be in the presence of Mr. Etta John, alias Star Daddy. He's a co-founder and executive director of Jangiccul. Thank you for being with us today on this edition. Remember, we are here because you're there. Please do not forget to subscribe to our social media handles by the name The Shirlma Show. Thank you.